Good day, viewers, and welcome to my channel. If you are viewing for the first time, please do well to subscribe to the channel. All right, today I will be talking about medication for snails. This has been a disturbing question. What's the drugs for snail? Okay, let me say this: in snail farming, there is no drugs applicable for snail consumption. There's no drugs for snail consumption. What it needs to do is to carry out a good management practices in terms of feeding. When you feed your snail the right balanced diet meal, a feed contain calcium, rich vegetables, edible feed that will encourage growth and development. This will encourage the snail well-being, the snail growth, the day-to-day growth of the snail, the growing of the shell, and it will also encourage mating. When you feed your snail edible balanced diet meal that contain good amount of calcium, when you use good effective calcium like the oyster shell calcium, this will also encourage the snail to grow very well and healthy. Another thing again is management. When you have a good managerial practices in terms of hygiene, snail don't like dirty environments. Snail don't like dirty environment, and that's why we always advise farmers to always encourage hygienic practices. When you feed your snail at night, you do well in the morning to check on your snail pen. You pick out the leftover feed, you wash the pen and ensure the pen is very neat and very clean. When you do all of this, your snail will be healthy, your snail will be smart, your snail will be growing well. Another thing again that affects snails' well-being is overcrowding, which can result to mortality. When the pen is overcrowded, it can also result to mortality. It can result to mortality, so you always encourage salting. Salting is very important in snail farming. I'm reiterating, I will also say again that salting is very important in snail farming. You don't put snails on different sizes in one pen. A hatchling snail should be kept in the nursery. A point of snail should be kept in a particular pen. So you don't put the grass sizes of snail and the point of lay or rather the jumbo sizes in one pen. If you do this, it will result to mortality, cannibalism, which will result to mortality. So cannibalism can affect a snail farm. So we always encourage to always do sorting. Sorting is very important. Inculcate the idea of sorting. Always check on the snails when they are growing months by months. You ensure the various sizes are kept in their various pens. Don't put snails of different sizes in one pen. Okay. Another thing again is the environment. Ensure the environment is tidy. Snail pen shouldn't be situated in a place that is prone to rain, excessive sunlight that can generate heat, on a place that is not hygienic. Snail don't like dirty environments or environments that can that is prone to diseases. So we always encourage to situate your pen in a place that is very clean, hygienic, away from excessive direct sunlight that can generate heat, a place that is prone to flood, which can affect your snails. So when you carry out all of these managerial practices in terms of feeding, in feeding aspect, you feed your snail a good meal, a good balanced diet meal that contains calcium. Vegetable is very rich for snail. You feed your snail vegetables like cucumber, cabbage, watermelon, even pawpaw fruit. Pawpaw is very rich, effective for snails' well-being. You feed your snail pawpaw. It's very good for snail. Snail love pawpaw. Snail always eat pawpaw. Snail find it happy when feeding on pawpaw. So your feeding is very important. So when you do the feeding in the right way and you feed your snail a feed and also encourage the feeding of calcium, your snail will grow well. So whatever say that getting information, or you are being worried, what's the job for my snail? My snails are not smart, my snails are not doing well, my snails are slow, my snails are sick, or my snails are there's a mortality is occurring. There are several factors that can result to all of this, ranging from the feeding, the management, in terms of hygienic management, the feeding management, the environmental factors. Many things can affect snails. So if you do all of this in the right way, if you do your feeding, your management, your day-to-day work in terms of cleaning the pen, you clean the pen on daily basis, you sort the snail out as when due, you sort the snail out as when due in terms of keeping snails of different sizes in one pen. You situate the snail pen, the snail housing in a very safe, cool environment that is not prone to flood, sunlight, and diseases that can generate diseases. And also an environment that is not prone to insects. There are some certain creeping insects that can affect snails. Snails are defenseless. Snails are defenseless. You can see snail cannot defend itself. Even when a harmful insect beats a snail, you see snail cannot defend the snail cannot fight back. So it is your responsibility, you being a snail farmer, you being a farm owner, it is your responsibility to always ensure your snails are safe. So that's why we encourage, we advise to always check the environment where your snail farm is situated. Ensure there is no creeping harmful insect like millipede, rodent like rats, and every other kind of termite, harmful insect that can invade your snail and can beat on the snail, which can result to mortality. So snail doesn't have drugs. There's no drugs for snail. When you feed your snail the right vegetable, your snail will grow well. When you carry out a good hygienic practices, proper hygiene matters a lot. When you carry out a proper hygienic practices in terms of watching, cleaning the pen, cleaning the feeder, ensure your snails are healthy, your snails will definitely grow on a daily basis. So snail doesn't have drugs. There's no drugs for snail. And in terms of feeding, there are certain things you don't feed your snail. You should avoid anything that contains salt. Salt content is anything that has salt content should be avoided. Salt is very harmful to snails' health. Salt is not good for snail. Please don't feed your snail cooked food that have salt. Don't feed your snail bread. Bread is not good for snails. Don't feed your snail bread. Don't feed your snail cooked food that have salt. Don't feed your snails rice. Those are things that are not healthy for snail. You can feed your snail vegetables. Like I said earlier, rich vegetables. You can feed your snail potato peas. Potato peas is also rich for your snails. Those are things you can feed your snails. So you can feed your snails with a rich vegetable, and also ensure you make use of calcium. Calcium is very important. I said earlier, calcium is very important, and one calcium that is most advisable to encourage snails' well-being is oyster shell. When you feed your snail oyster shell, you see your snails will be growing well. When they mate, they will be able to ensure the oyster shell will encourage the eggs formation, and it will encourage the snail's well-being, the snail growth, and the day-to-day well-being of the snails. So when you do all of these managerial practices, good hygienic management, feeding the snails the right feed, environmental protection, the environment where the snail's pen is situated, which is a snail farm, you ensure you protect the farm from creeping harmful insects, rodent that can hurt your snails. So when you do all of this, another thing again, salting. Encourage salting. Salting is very important. If you don't salt your snails, cannibalism can occur in your farm, and you can see a particular snail which is suffering from cannibalism. You can see this is a result of cannibalism. So when you do all of these, your snails will be healthy, your snails will be smart, your snails will be producing, and you will be enjoying your farming. So there is no drugs for snails. There's no a particular drugs for snails that we feed our snails or we give our snails when they are sick. No, there's no drugs for snails. So it all depends on your management. It all depends on you being the farmer, your practices, your commitment. You just have to be committed in terms of catering for your snails, look out for your snail pen. You ensure a proper management of the snail pen, which will encourage the snail to grow well, to grow healthy, and ensure production of hatchlings, and which will encourage the growth of your farm. So you see, when you do all of this, you'll be making progress on the snail farming. So do well to subscribe to our channel. We will bring you more informative topic on snail farming, how to be a successful snail farmer. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting and exciting topic on snail farming. Thank you for watching.